Hi, welcome. I'm John Allen, host of Out in New Haven, where once a month we take a different topic of interest to the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and questioning community in Southern New England and explore it in depth. And the New Haven Pride Center, this is a program of the New Haven Pride Center. We're the Southern Connecticut Regional Community Center for LGBTQ people. And here in Southern Connecticut, one of only two in Connecticut, two community centers. The New Haven Pride Center is active in sponsoring support groups and is a resource for the community and for those that want to understand more about the LGBTQ community in Connecticut. We're also sponsors of the Dorothy Awards, where this is the premier award ceremony for the state, and there's a magazine called Centerline that you can access both online and at various sites around the community. Today we're going to be talking about something that seems a great sporting event and a wonderful way to connect with other people, and that's the Southern New England Friendship League. It's the LGBTQ softball league, and I'm delighted that we have our guests, our team manager Chris Tonsky, and one of the team members, Carly Webb. Thank you both for being here.
Thanks, John.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. So the Southern New England Friendship League is the softball league. And why don't you tell us a little bit about it? Chris, why don't you start us off?
Sure. We started in 1980 under the umbrella of the NAGA League. And NAGA stands for North American Gay Association of Amateur Athletics. Over the years, we've turned into just an all-encompassing, all-embracing, all-welcoming league for all spectrums of gender and sexuality. So we are there for the enjoyment of softball and also to provide a safe space for people of the LGBTQ++ community to feel safe playing softball.
Mm-hmm. And when I was looking at your the photos and some of the lineup, it seems like you really are an inclusive. That the league is very inclusive of all of these, and you have many different members of our community playing on these teams.
Yes, all along the spectrum. People that identify as heterosexual, our allies, and everything in between.
So we don't discriminate as far as you can be straight and still play in this league.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, exactly. Our team in particular. I always said that our team was a little bit of the Rockford Peaches, a little bit Bad News Bears, a little Crash Davis extract from Bull Durham, with just a little bit of the 1962 Mets and the 1950s era Washington Senators mixed into it. We're just a bunch of weirdos, misfits, and some other queers, honestly. So that's what we were, and that's what makes this team, and in a larger sense, makes this league special.
Right. So it sounds like you want to have fun and enjoy playing softball.
That's what we're here for. I mean, ultimately, it's an opportunity to represent ourselves as we are on the field in sport, because sport in many ways has not been a safe space for our community and for our family as a whole.
I would agree with you. I would think that sports have generally not been so. But it seems like things are changing.
We're getting there. I mean, there's a lot. We're a lot farther along than we were. Think about it when this league, for example, was started in 1980. Think about where we were as a country.
Right.
I mean, Stonewall was 11 years before.
Right.
The first Pride was in 72. 2 years before that league was formed, we were seeing Harvey Milk slain in his office in the San Francisco City Hall. And when this league did start, the gay games were 2 years away.
Wow.
And we were about to walk into a decade of a plague which still has scars in our community.
Yes.
And that aftershoot.
Well
and in the realm of sport especially, to this day, there still hasn't, I mean, lesbians are 30 years ahead of the curve right now because women have talked about this issue. But as far as in the locker rooms in the major professional sports, outside of a few players in leagues who came out after they had retired in some of the major sports, there wasn't movement. And even now, even though there's more movement and there is more of an impetus and there is more visibility on, in many ways, we still have a long way to go, especially for young people.
Right. Mm-hmm. Well, it's certainly, I mean, the Friendship League is a amateur league, right? I mean, this is not a professional sports team, right?
Correct.
Mm-hmm. So why don't you tell me a little bit about where is the league based out of, and what are some of the, how many teams are there, and where, how does it operate?
Well, we're based all over the state. There's teams on the Rhode Island border, in Norwich, Groton, New London area, and there's teams in the Milford area and the New Haven area. We used to have teams in the Hartford and Windsor area as well. Years ago, there was a Springfield, Mass team. So we have 7 teams right now, and we're hoping to grow the league by doing promotional activities like this to get the word out.
Right. Mm-hmm. That's great. Now, how many people are on a team?
Many as you want.
Yeah.
As many
What do you need?
as many show up. You need at least 10, isn't it?
Yep.
10 to play a game.
Yeah, you need at least 10, but it's always great to have a lot more because it's the camaraderie. It's more of the social aspect than anything else. This is an opportunity to get together. Like I said, it's not just a community. We call ourselves in this community a family in many ways, and for many of us, these are families. These families have replaced our own in many cases. And
yeah, chosen family.
yes, exactly. The whole concept of chosen family, and we go hard at each other on the field, all these teams, and Chris can tell you, we go hard. I mean, don't get the wrong idea. Yes, there's nice beer and food afterwards, and everybody is friendly, but when we're on that field, it's hard ball.
Right.
It's pen and chase
There
ball.
is competition,
Yeah.
right? Some serious competition. But you don't have to really, I mean, can a novice come in and feel comfortable?
That was our whole team, pretty much, wasn't it, Chris?
Yeah, we had a lot of newbies that we nurtured along the way, and they learned and they played well.
Right. Is there any position, when I played Little League, I remember I was always stuck in the outfield, but I think that's where the action is, right?
I love playing the outfield.
I like it when our left fielder plays in the outfield because that's where doubles go to die.
Yeah.
Well, and when I was doing some research about softball, I always thought, well, it's really, baseball with a larger ball, but it seems like there might be some differences what people see from, when they look at a baseball game or professional baseball game versus softball. And what are the similarities and what might be the differences?
The difference with us is we play 7 innings instead of 9, so it's a shorter game. The bigger ball keeps the distance. Is that correct? The distance is less, so it keeps the ball in the field more, keeps it more of a.
But you're playing on a typical baseball.
No, we're playing softball dimensions.
Oh,
we're
really?
playing on baseball. We're playing on baseball fields, but we're for the most part dealing with softball dimensions, which it's something I think it's like 66% of a full baseball diamond.
I see.
Yes.
But no, and theoretically that ball stays in. But we have some people in this league who can crank it out pretty good.
Really? Now, where are you playing? What is the team you're with is called the Barracuda?
Yes, we are represented, or we're sponsored by Barracuda Bistro and Bar on Chapel Street in New Haven.
Right.
The
Wonderful.
owners, Sonia Salazar and Sarah Cornelius, are great allies to our team, and they pitch in the $500 per year. This is our second year going in to the league to help pay for umpires,
the umps.
and field reservation time and other equipment that we need.
And also it's good post-game eating.
And so, where are some of the other? Where are you playing? Where do you guys play?
Our field is DeGale Field in New Haven, which is across from Hill House High School.
Oh, yes, uh-huh. Okay.
We have 2 home games per season, and then every other team has 2 home games. Our other New Haven team for this league is York Street of the York Street Pub.
Right.
They play in Milford. Right now they play at Platt Tech High School. There's also some other Milford teams. The AMF Bowling League sponsors one of our teams, and we go bowling after the games.
Wonderful.
And we have
What are the
some-
other teams?
They are
New
out
London, you
in the
said?
New London area, so that's the Otto's Hair Barbershop. They sponsor a team, Otto's Barbershop.
In New London.
In New London, and then their after party is at the Brass Rail.
Oh, which is a well-known LGBT bar out in
It's
New
the oldest
London.
gay pub in Connecticut.
Really?
Yeah, and it's really fantastic. It has a huge deck out overlooking the water.
Oh, how wonderful. Uh-huh.
Who else?
And then you said there was one in Middletown?
There used to be one in Middletown. We've got the Orange Ale House sponsors in Milford. They sponsor one of our teams.
Oh. And so when you said that you played each team plays 2 home games on their field, so everybody has their own designated practice field and where they then play, and then what, you travel around?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so how many games is in it?
We have 12 games per season every Sunday, so pretty much from May through July, we have games every Sunday.
So the season is
And
12
they're
games.
actually double headers.
There's
Yeah, we
they're
play double
headers.
headers.
Oh, wow. So you're playing 7 innings. How long does that usually take?
An hour and 10 minutes. No, we can't go over that.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's
So
sort
it's-
of. So it could be less than 7 innings.
Well,
But if you
it's-
get to 7 innings,
Yes.
then you stop, whether
Correct.
it's an hour and 10 minutes or an hour or whatever.
Yep,
But you
whichever
can't go
comes
more than
sooner.
an hour and 10 minutes. And so then you'll play 2 games on a Sunday.
Yes.
Wonderful. That's great. Sounds like fun.
Hey, double headers are. Hey, Ernie Banks always said, "Hey, let's play 2." And then I like the fact that we play double headers. It makes for a good long season. Then in August we have the playoffs, which is a double elimination tournament. That is a lot of fun. Last year was my first year playing. And it was great to be a part of this team.
Now, one of the things that when I was reading about softball, it said that the difference between baseball is that baseball tends to be a little bit slower, take more time, and softball is known for being, that's part of that it actually started as an indoor sport, but that it's designed to be a quicker moving game.
Sure, and ours are even quicker than standard softball games. We start with a count of 1-1, 1 strike, 1 ball, and that's to speed up the game so everyone gets equal and fair playing time.
Okay. And what are some of the things that sort of, I guess, tricks or things that are unique that you find in the when you're playing a game? I mean, are people throwing fastballs? Are they supposed to?
It's hard to be tricky because a lot of things are illegal. Certain pitches, if it's too high or if it's too low, you have to keep your arc between 6 and 12 feet. You can't pitch it too fast, or it's an illegal ball. You can't steal bases. You can't bunt. So the tricks are, I'm still trying to figure those out.
No, it's really just the simple essence of the game. Get up there, take a cut. Get up there, take a cut, and if you happen to connect, run first. And if you really have to connect, you run second.
Right. Now, one of the things that I saw was that sometimes there'll be there's a shortstop. So that's the typical positions of first base, second base, shortstop, and third base. But that sometimes there'll be another position in between first and second base. Do you play that way?
It can be. I mean, you have your 9 basic positions, and also usually you have your rover that's your roving outfielder. That's usually they could play right center or left center, and you can it makes for some interesting strategic decisions, which is She does. She
Right.
handles all.
the strategy.
I mean, between her and our assistant coach Reed Miller, they are the brain trust of the outfit, and they could, like, for example, you got a hitter that's hitting pretty good towards left field, then you can also throw an extra fielder over there or move them around to right center. That's what we usually do with that extra player. Or you can have them kind of cheat up towards the dirt, cheat up towards the infield, or you can spread them out. I mean, depending on what certain teams do. I mean, It's still, even though it's recreational and it's fun ball, it's still, I mean, there's still the strategic elements to it. There are still certain things, such as, teams do keep scouting reports on teams. I mean, after a while, we know who everyone is in the space of
Their
about a month.
strengths and challenges.
Yes, we kind of exactly. We know what everyone does, and everyone in turn knows what you do. So that's what makes the season a challenge, that you continue to improve and develop. And I can say throughout the year, our team really did. I mean, we did a lot for a team in our first year, and really this team came together as a combination of two teams. And we had to merge people.
Oh, really?
Yes. Because at the beginning, Chris, who was a longtime All-Star for York Street, wanted to put her own team together, but didn't have enough people. And a good friend of mine, Reed Miller, wanted to put together his own team. And I was one of the first people that raised my hand and said, hey, I'll play. I mean, I'm not very good, but I'll play. And Reed didn't have enough people. So a couple phone calls got made and meetings got made. And the next thing you know, we were a gestalt at the beginning of a bunch of separate people, many of whom didn't know each other. And together, we became a team. And that was the thing. We became a team throughout the season. And now we were people who in some ways were strangers, and now we are friends. Friends enough to where we went camping after the season.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we went on a team camping trip.
What is sort of the glue or the thread that holds your team together?
Mainly at one level, it's just to have a good time. Like one of our team members told me after a game where we lost a close one, and I was kind of upset about it. And they put their hand on my shoulder and said, "Look, it's beer league softball. It's nothing worth risking.
Right.
At the end of the day, it's not worth risking your neck for. It's just beer league softball." But me being kind of the ultra competitive sort, it took me a couple of days for that to really register. But I'm that at one level, we just want to play and have a good time. At another level, again, we want to be around family. We want to be around our friends. And at a third level, in many ways, I mean, just like the ethos of how things like this league began, how things like the gay games began, it's an opportunity to represent yourself as yourself on that field. Because for a lot of us growing up, I mean, for me growing up, sports was like oxygen to me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, sports was like oxygen with me. I played sports most of my life. When I'm not playing softball, I'm also a marathoner and a budding triathlete.
Wow!
And they can tell you about when that weekend where I went out and did a race and then
She usually does a triathlon before the game.
Or it's like, or read.
Now, do you make people go out and do calisthenics and run around the
don't.
field? And
We don't make people, but we all try to do it. We try to warm up together and.
I mean, we're a team.
And you do have batting practice.
We do.
We do.
You have a practice before the game?
Yes, we get an hour of field time before the game. We try to utilize it and take advantage of the empty field so we can do some.
Do you have
live
other
drills.
practice times as well, or is it just that?
Yeah, we practice more than anyone in the league because we're so new, and we actually have a lot of fun practicing, and we spend more time. I think that's where the glue comes in, is when we're at practice and meeting, and then we always go out to eat or drink afterwards.
So it's really a social. It's opportunity to have athletics and challenge yourself, and then go have fun and go have something to eat and drink afterwards. Yeah, that's great. What is there like a World Series or a some kind of a end of season competition, or what do we have?
For our league, we have a day of playoffs, and that's the last day of the season. That's where everyone shows up and everyone plays each other, and it's a double elimination tournament. and whoever wins that day of games wins the trophy for this season.
Oh.
And then afterwards there's the award banquet.
Yeah, and then there's a nice.
That
There's the
same day?
award banquet and the cookout, and it's just an opportunity for the whole team to fellowship. And beyond that, the league builds travel teams for tournaments outside, for tournaments elsewhere throughout the region,
Wow.
and in some cases throughout the country. I mean, this year the league is trying to put together 4 teams for Naga World Series this year, which will be held in Kansas City.
Oh, how
so there's
wonderful.
there's a lot to look forward to. There's a lot of growth to look forward to this season.
Where is the when is the Naga World Series held?
When is that? Like late September?
Yeah. Yep.
And this year it's going to be in Kansas City.
Kansas City, Missouri, which means the teams that go out there, since that's my neck, I grew up in the Midwest. You'll get some good steak out there.
Oh yeah. Beef belt. Yeah. Hopefully, we're going this year.
Now, where do you hold your end of season games?
Where was
are
the
they
playoffs
usually held?
last year?
It's at random locations. Whoever can get the field time. Last year it was out in Washington Park in Groton or New London. Which town was that?
Scranton.
Groton.
In Groton.
Yeah. The year before we had them in Milford, and we had our celebratory award ceremony downtown New Haven, and it was a very good time. We are, even though we are the Barracuda team, because Barracuda is the name of our sponsor, we've embraced ourselves as the Barracudas.
Oh,
kind
how
of
perfect is that?
It's like our mascot at the same time. But this year, the Barracuda restaurant owners opened their second restaurant called Te Amo Tequila.
Where is that?
Bar
I'm
and
not
tacos.
familiar with that.
That is on Temple Street, on the corner of Chapel and Temple. Much larger venue, dance floor, 2 bars. So we're going to be called the Barracudas. However, we are going to have our after game celebrations at Te Amo Tequila.
Oh, how wonderful.
To be better, much better space for 7 softball teams.
Yeah. Well, what you've been describing is it sounds like it's really pretty easy to get into the league and start to play. It's literally you want to, do you have to have a tryout, or is it, you take all comers?
Oh, there's a tryout. You just show up. There's a tryout. 'Cause, Woody Allen always said that most of life is just showing up.
Right,
So if you show up, you get to play.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of it. It's
Yeah.
just getting people to show up.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that the league is making more outreach towards, is getting people to show up. And not just getting getting people across the spectrum to show up. Getting more of the rainbow family to show up. Because again, it goes back to, this is a safe space for you to play ball.
Right.
If you're lacking community, this is for example, that was my biggest thing. Living more towards Central Connecticut.
Right.
Community is a little bit harder to come by, but I know that on that Sunday afternoon for those 2 games and for that time, I'm going to be around community.
Right.
I'm going to be around family. And
I
that
know,
is a big deal.
You mentioned, I think that's so perfect because, growing up, for me, it was not. It was always something I felt like I was forced to do, through my father was a big sports person. I was not. But yet, as I've gotten older, I appreciate, exercise. I think that, you want to be healthy. You want to have activity in your life. And to do it in a communal kind of a way, I think it would be wonderful. But, people that, where you're not going to be judged, I think so many people in our community have had negative experiences around sports.
Absolutely.
And so I just think that it sounds like a lot of fun.
It is. It really is amazing.
And then the other expense I would imagine is if just going out and having dinner, but you said that the host.
Yep. On our game days, the host provides food for us.
How wonderful.
Yeah. And so
It
all the
sounds like a
teams-
reasonable cost to go and have a lot of fun.
It's a great way to spend a spring and the summer, and also people show up to the games. Families shows up to the game. Friends show up to the games. We get a little bit of a crowd.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's also really good when also you see families bringing their kids to the game, because to me that's something.
Yeah, we love the kids.
Yes, we love when the kids, because the kids need to, I mean, the kids want to see us play. Kids
Yeah.
want to see us play, and they want to see, like, you know, parents play and friends play.
Right.
But also at another level, for me, as a person who loves sports and also loves seeing kids play sports.
Right.
I mean, this is a good example because what you were just talking about is really important.
Yes,
that
I know.
Is that, and now that we're seeing more and more youth finding safer spaces to come out. What I
Queer
wanna
youth,
see, yes, queer
right.
youth
I think
having
that's so
safer spaces.
important that
I
people-
want to see
yeah.
sport be another safe place.
Yes, it needs to be. I mean, you know, I certainly I grew from another generation, and you know, gay people were really ostracized. So I think that this is so important.
And that is another point as well, because we have not only we have an age spectrum as well.
Yeah.
There are people like yourself who know the real dark times.
Right.
Who know the real dark times. I mean, I've had an opportunity to have a few conversations with some people on other teams, for example, including a few who know what it's like when you see a friend or a lover die.
Yeah, I know.
When you saw them, the
And so
survivors
it's-
of the plague years. I mean, I was having a conversation with a few players of some other teams after a game one Sunday when they were telling me about what it was like at the first at the beginning of this league, and it really gave me an appreciation for, in many ways, how yes, we have a long way to go, but we've come a long way from when they were telling me in that first season when umps in those first years would not want to do this league's games,
Right.
and now umps fight to do this
How
league's
wonderful.
games.
Well,
I mean, there's been a lot of change and a lot of growth.
Yeah.
So in many ways, for me, in some ways it's been history.
Yeah.
It's been greater education in the history of our community because we have a living history of our community in this
Yeah.
league, in addition to the camaraderie and the community and the competition.
Carly, I think that's so wonderful, and I'm just so delighted to find out about this league and know that this is here for our community. And at that, I'm so sorry we've come to the end of our time, but Carly Webb, I'm so glad that you're here, and Chris Tonsky, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Keep on going. This
Yes,
sounds
we're
like
looking for new players, new sponsors,
yeah.
and they can get in touch with us through Facebook.
I think
Facebook.com.
we're going to put that up on the program.
Oh, good.
So
Southern New England
at
softball.
that, thank you so much for being here. I'm John Allen, host of Alden New Haven, and we've been speaking with Carly Webb and Chris Tonsky of the Southern New England Friendship League, which is the LGBTQ softball league here in Connecticut. Thank you.
Thank you.